good evening. We welcome you to our open house here tonight. And tonight we have with us our administrator, Pastor Carrie Brown, and our assistant administrator, Miss Rachel Moberly. And we're definitely looking forward to tonight as we have to present many things for our school of Bible Baptist School. We're definitely looking forward just to share with you what we have to offer here at the school.
Amen. And here, of course, in a Christian school, we are a Christian school.
Amen.
And it is Christian, but it's also a school. And it's definitely not just glorified Sunday school. There's a great curriculum. There's a great staff that works together to be able to help our students grow and help mature them, not just as one part of their academic mind, but also as a whole person. And so it's just a great opportunity. This whole virtual open house is brand new. It's not anything that we have ever done before, and it may be something that becomes more normal as we start experiencing a new normal in our society. But definitely, it's a different environment. We would just as soon have everybody right here on campus where we could see you, meet, greet, have a cup of coffee together, go through the classrooms, and make it a little bit more hands-on to where you could see what was going on for yourself. But we will make some of those items available for you.
Yes, and if you missed it, we have already had our TK and K5 open house that premiered at 5. So if you'd like to go back and watch that, they just did a fantastic job getting you a little bit of insight into that classroom. You got to meet their characters and the manipulatives and see a little bit of how the class would be run, and even some teaching time as well.
All right, good.
Amen. Yes, we have some discounts also that we are wanting to give away tonight, and we have one specific discount, and that's actually going to be a raffle, and we are definitely looking forward to that. And for that raffle, we just want you to text this number 530-290-6444, and you will text WIN, W-I-N, WIN, and if you text that to that number, you will be have the opportunity to enter in for a raffle where you will you could have the chance to win 1 full month of tuition paid for one student, and I believe that comes to $360.
Yes, sir.
So yes, definitely a huge prize there, and so we want to encourage you to enter that raffle and do that. We also have a referral discount, Miss Rachel.
Yes, so many of you have already registered for our raffle for the 1 month off. So if you've already done that, you don't need to do it again. You've already been entered into the drawing. But the referral discount is something that we have continually. So if we have our existing school families and they refer a new family, then for every new student that is joined to our team, because of them, they get $100 off on their tuition.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely a help, and so referrals are always great. Just glancing through here, seeing that we've got some people checking in, and so if you have not had a chance to check in yet, we sure would love to see that. Helps us just know who we're connecting with, so we can make those connections, so we can answer questions and make sure that we are giving you the information that you need.
Yes, and for that, there is a process in checking in. So that same number that we just gave you, 530-290-6444, you can also text HERE, H-E-R-E, and if you text that, you'll have the opportunity to check in and let us know that you are joining us and watching this open house, this virtual open house here. And then also, if you have a question, you're just going to text that number, question. And maybe if you have a question or a comment, and we are planning on answering those questions at the end of our virtual open house. And so if you get those in right away, we can review those, and we will do our best to get those answered for you. And so we want you to do that as soon as possible, so then that way we can get those answered for you.
Yes, and I'm already seeing multiple families here. The Clements are here, the Callahans, the Wheelings, just off the top of my head, who have already commented and said that they're here. So thank you for joining us.
All right, well, good. Okay, so as we're just going through, what can we expect tonight? So as we are having our virtual open house, and those that are watching right now live, what can they expect this open house to look like, and how long is this open house going to be, just so they have an idea of their evening?
Well, just looking at the time frame, it's probably going to be about for 30 minutes, so it's not going to be too long, but just definitely very informative, where we'll be able just to experience and view the classroom environment. We'll be able to just hear about the different programs that we have, including the sports program there, and just different opportunities the students have, and just the benefits that our school has to offer. And so definitely very informative and very just a great opportunity to be a part of, and so just want to encourage you to stay tuned in for that.
All right. So we do have a video that we're going to show at this time, and so we'll go through and we'll watch this video as you are watching, and you have something that comes to your mind, shoot a question in to us, and we will be able to get back with you and be able to answer and respond after that introductory video is playing. And so we will go ahead and go to that video at this time.
You may ask yourself, why our school? Our school is designed to grow a You may ask yourself, why our school? Our school is designed to grow a well-rounded student who can not only have a strong education, but also learn in a Christ-centered environment. Our goal is to educate and to train the whole student, spiritually, intellectually, physically, and socially.
In response to COVID-19, our school was able to quickly restructure to allow for a seamless transition to distance learning. Our students had the opportunity to complete their school year without losing any learning time, as well as the ability to stay in communication with their teachers to assist home learning. BBS provided an organized program within a week that equipped our students to step into the upcoming year without any gaps in their education. We care for their safety and are working towards reopening our doors. We have had professional cleaners come in and are complying with our health officials to protect them.
Our school will enrich the average learner in a few different ways. The first being a quality education. The curriculum our school has chosen to use is BJU Press. This is an accredited curriculum that focuses deeply on critical thinking. Now you may think, why does my child need to think critically? If your child can simply memorize facts, but they have no way to apply them in an everyday life, have they actually learned? This is something that our curriculum has set aside from many others. Another way that our education has shown to be a way of quality is through our state testing scores. On average, our students test 2 years above the national average. One other way that we would love to enrich the average learner would be through a low student-to-teacher ratio. This allows for individualized attention from our teachers to our students, and research shows time and time again that small class sizes affect learning outcomes in the classroom. Our school integrates technology into our classroom by using a teacher-technology combination. Our students stream the majority of their classes while still having a teacher within the classroom to help facilitate them. Sometimes our teachers are simply moving our students on to their next class and assisting organizationally. Other times, however, our teachers have the opportunity to reteach any unclear concepts, as well as assist the students should they have any issues during their day.
My favorite thing to do at school is color and play and draw.
Here's some things that I wrote that I like about this school.
people are kind to each other and we talk about God. We always read the Bible. We learn about Jesus, and all of my friends and everyone was nice to me on my first day of school. And the teachers are very loving and encouraging when we're having trouble. We have fun learning together about Jesus, and people pray for each other when things are going wrong, like coronavirus, and people are loving to one another.
One thing that I like about the school is that the class sizes are smaller, and that means I get more help. I like how my pastor is my administrator, because I always have somebody to go to whenever I need help or anything that's troubling me. And I like how we get to do PE.
Throughout the day, students are given clear expectations and structure for their behavior in academics. Students have time to get settled into their classroom, and then they regroup for morning pledges. Once they return to their classrooms, they work through 2 classes and then have a recess with other students. After recess, they again work through a couple classes and then break for lunch. In the afternoon, our students have the opportunity to take advantage of PE class and computer lab before returning to finish their classes and any other work. Once a week, our students are able to all meet together with our administrator for a chapel time. This is a favorite time of the week, with singing and games and great truths being taught. The frequent breaks in our schedule allow students to reset their minds to be able to focus upon return, while still enriching the physical and social aspects.
Our sports program is a major part of our school. We believe this program is a great way to build character, to bring motivation to personal academics, to boost school spirit, and to glorify God with the talents and abilities God has blessed each student with. We desire that our students are well balanced, not only excelling academically and spiritually, but also physically. The students are able to participate at a competitive level while establishing friendships and making memories that will last a lifetime. We believe this sports program provides great opportunities for our students to grow and to be engaged in school activities.
Just wanted to introduce our administrator. This is Pastor Carrie Brown, and we're going to go over some frequent Q&As that come up quite often for us. So one of the first questions that we get often asked is, why BJU Press?
Well, when we were looking at different curriculums for the school, of course, we wanted to have a curriculum that was going to be academically superior. So we did not want to get a curriculum that was just the kids were just going to breeze through and they would not be challenged. So we want a challenging curriculum. And so there are some great curriculums that are out there, but one of the things that we had seen when we narrowed it down to the 2 curriculums, the final curriculums was between Bob Jones as well as Abeka, and I like both curriculums, both have their strengths. But the one area with Bob Jones that really stepped up versus the Abeka was the fact that the Bob Jones curriculum deals with critical thinking. Mm-hmm. And it's not just being able to recite a bunch of information and to memorize it. You know, in life, we're not given situations where it's pre-programmed and we know exactly what the question is going to be and I can just give a rote answer and be okay. Life brings us questions that aren't predisposed. So we can't go back in the book and find that list and the bold, highlighted in italics words that I've got to memorize for a test or a quiz. Mm-hmm. And so with the curriculum with Bob Jones University is it really highlights critical thinking. It causes the students not just to glean the information and have to be able to put that back out and repeat it on a test or a quiz, but it also causes them to have to give real life application. They are questioned on what would I do in this situation? Mm-hmm. And so it's not just regurgitating information, it is then putting yourself into a situation and trying to think through the options, the opportunities, the problems that a decision might encounter, and then being able to make a good decision. So starting even in second grade, our second graders are writing essays. And so with that, it just causes the students to have to really learn how to think. And so it's challenging for students that are coming in that have been in other curriculums. And I'm not downplaying the value of these other curriculums. I'm just saying that the curriculum that we are using, it is superior. It's a great curriculum. I don't know how many times as a youth pastor, I asked a teenager, why did you do that? And the answer always came back, I don't know. And smart kids, good grades, but they did not have the ability to stop and look at a situation and say, if I do this, this is going to happen. If I do this, this is going to happen. I'm doing that. And I don't want our kids to make a 50-50 choice. I don't want them just to throw decisions up in the air and whatever feels best to be the choice. I want them to make wise decisions. So this learning how to think is going to help them for the rest of their life.
Absolutely. Another question we often get asked is, how come we chose not to use a traditional classroom style?
Traditional classroom. Okay, well, there's a lot of different opportunities on that one. And traditional classrooms definitely have some strengths. The ability to have all the students together and teach have one teacher. And that has a little bit just structure that's there. But our world is changing. And the world that we live in is a world of technology. And so we have chosen a teacher technology approach where we not only have the teacher in the classroom, but we also have the online, and it's a proven technology. We have seen, everybody's seen, universities are using online curriculum and the online teaching, and it works. People are getting their degree for their career online. And our kids are used to technology, and so being able to have the best of both worlds, it is integrating them into an active environment that does not ignore the technology that they're used to. I mean, we are tied to all these different devices, and the next generation is going to be more so. So with that, I think that we are taking the ability to have a teacher in the classroom to answer questions, to be that hands-on person, to be able to work through the different dynamics of the students' learning strengths and weaknesses and the type of learner that they are. I think that helps, but having the accredited teachers online teaching the curriculum, the students are learning that direction, and who knows, schools in the future will probably only be online. So I think we're preparing for the future.
One of the other questions we get asked is, often when we put out material promoting our school, there is such an emphasis placed on a biblical worldview. Why?
Because we're Christian. And we can look at life either from a secular worldview or a humanistic worldview, or we can look at it from a biblical worldview. And of course, as believers, we are a Christian school. That is not, it's not hidden any way. It is a ministry of our local New Testament church. And so our biblical worldview is teaching them not just how to glean information, it's teaching them how to live. It's teaching them what they're supposed to be. And so it's dealing with the body, soul, and the spirit of man versus just the academic. And so it's not just that they're learning how to get good grades, they're learning how to live, how to interact, how should they interact with others. There's that social interaction, there's spiritual interaction, and then to be able to understand the world around us from a biblical worldview helps us understand the creator of this world. He made us. He knows what will bring blessing. He knows what will bring cursing. He knows what will bring the blessings of life, but he also knows what's going to bring the destruction. And we want the kids to see from not just an academic view, but also from a spiritual worldview of what does God say about this? And all through the curriculum, whether it's our science, whether it's our math, whether it's our literature, the Lord has worked all the way through, and principles of Scripture are being taught to the students, and they are having to think about them, not just reading them, not just storing away information, but also allowing it to affect how they live.
Another question we often get asked is, our school is so young, how can you gauge its success?
How can we gauge the success? Well, one way that we can gauge our success is with the testing. And we do have outside testing right now, just with the Iowa testing so far in the first 4 years. We are averaging 2 to 2.5 years ahead of the national average. So right now we know that we are succeeding there, but then also just looking at our students. And you watch these students that come in and you see how they're maturing, you see how they carry themselves, you see how they interact with one another, you see how they interact with authority, with their parents. There's such an impact that education in a Christian environment does. It removes them from an environment of worldly influence and then gives them the teaching, the training, so they are prepared when they go out into this world to take care of their own family, for their careers, for college. They are going to be so prepared and ahead of their peers. It will be amazing. So it's just exciting to see. I look at the curriculum, I look at the information that they're learning, and we've had our parents all across the spectrum. I didn't learn that. I don't remember learning this. Why is that? It's because oftentimes the curriculum that we were given was to give basic information so everybody could succeed, everybody could pass, and it wasn't as challenging as what our curriculum is. And that's why it's so important to have the teacher in the classroom as well, because they are prepared to be able to help when mom and dad don't have that background. I know if I had to sit down and go through all the information, I would have a hard time being able to help the students with all of that. And that's why we've partnered with some great teachers that can be in the classroom, help the students succeed. And that's what we're looking to see happen.
Our experience with the private school versus the public school is just my sister's overall experience and what she's having to deal with her son in the Marysville public school system. There's no support, none at all. 1 hour a week for a class of 30. And trying to schedule that 10 to 11 time block only for that 1 day a week, and try to get all your questions in and try to have everything together. And what if you have other questions? What if you need more help? And that availability isn't there. And what we're seeing here is, with the online structure already being in place, the teacher, we already have that curriculum to take home, one. And two, the teachers are available the school week hours. They're there Monday through Thursday, 9 to 4:30 every day. They're available by conference call, email, text, phone call, video chat. I mean, you name it, they're doing everything they can to go above and make themselves available to the students all day, every day. And nobody else is getting that. Nobody in the public school system is receiving any of that kind of support for their kid. So we're hearing all these stories about these kids falling behind, and they're not meeting, the steps, the milestones to proceed on to the next grade level. Those kids are in trouble. We're not seeing that. She's maintaining, she's doing well, and she has the support that she needs. And the faith-based part is huge for us. She's learning about God, and we're growing as a family in faith and in our church community, and things that nobody else can speak to in the public school system.
Great, because I know that the teachers really care about the students. I've prayed with them many times for the kids. I know that they're genuine, and I just really appreciate them being able to help them stay out of trouble. Not just during school time, but just after school, during church. There's just that hedge of protection around the kids, and I'm so grateful for that. If I would have had that kind of support as a young child, my life would have been a lot different. So I'm super grateful for just the teachers, the pastor, which is also the principal. Just grateful that they're here for them, and just the level of education is really great.
when we were deciding, I mean, fortunately we had my mom who pitched in, right, and my dad. That aside, though, the cost of the school, it's a little expensive. And for some people, it might even be a lot of expensive. To us, it was. And so when we were considering the budget and can we afford this, and oh my gosh, that's a nice truck payment, we can pay this much with a mortgage. But again, having had 3 daughters, through 2 of them fully through the public system, and now Abigail, fortunately, only a few years, it's worth it. It's worth the investment, because when you see how your kid is developing, you know, not to say the first 2 were mistakes, but just you see the differences in their attitude and their outlook. And I think as important as things that they are learning is things that they're not. And that's huge. And in the public system, you don't have a say. You know, your kid goes to school, they get, for lack of a better word, brainwashed with whatever curriculum, AKA agenda, cooked up by the government, and that's what's forced on them. And here, that is not the case. So, you know, if anybody's considering how much it costs, yeah, it's a little pricey, but it's worth it. And from a father of 3 daughters, and now having the comparison, it's worth it. I'd rather that than a truck or a boat payment any day of the week.
We are looking forward to those returning back to the BBS family. If you'd be interested in learning more information about Bible Baptist schools, fill out our contact form available on our website. We also have educational success consultations made available at bbsforme.org, and sign up for your online appointment today. Welcome back, and yes, we are so excited about this school year and just being able to get back into the swing of things. And yes, we are planning on having school, and we'll be talking about schedule in just a moment there. But before we get into some more topics, just before we close here tonight, we're going to be doing this raffle, and we want you to be a part of it. Just because you are watching, we have many people watching on the live stream here, but just because you're watching does not mean you are entered in for the raffle. And so what you need to do is text this number 530-290-6444, and you're going to text WIN, W-I-N. And if you text that number, it will send you a link there, and you will just need to fill out that link or that form, and it's just basically your name, and then I believe it's your students or your children and what grade they are in. And so just very quick little questionnaire there, and you can do that in a matter of a minute. And we just want you to be entered in for that raffle, and we don't want you to lose that opportunity. We are giving away 1 month worth or tuition paid there for one student, and so definitely want to take advantage of that. And so if you have not entered in, please do so now before it's too late.
All right, and then too, just with the tuition and the 1 month free, that's 10%. And so how we do our tuition is we have it broke down. Though we have a 9-month school year, the tuition, we break it out to 10 months just to make it a little bit easier for the family. So that 1 month is 1/10 of the cost for the entire year. So that's great.
Yes, right. And a couple other things we wanted to address was the upcoming school year. I know a lot of school districts and different schools are trying to fight COVID with the different styles, and we are planning on opening up just as normal in the fall. We're excited to have everyone back on campus, and our upcoming school year will be from September 8th through June 2nd. It'll be normal 8:15 to 3:15 every day, 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday.
And that right there, the Monday through Thursday, is a huge benefit of our school. That the children, they're in there for 4 days, and they have that Friday off. And we are busy with ministry, and so many of our families the same. And so just being able to have that extra family time, as well as given opportunities to be able to be engaged and involved in different things that they would love to be able to be involved in. So school, having that 4-day school week, how does that work, though, to be able to finish the curriculum for the school year?
Well, every curriculum by default is set for 180 days. And with the school districts in the federally, even in California especially, that is not at all what is normal. It is not required. And even doing a 4-day work week, our students end up having and clocking more hours in school and in learning time than the public school districts in our area. So even though it's a 4-day week, they get so much done. It is incredible.
It is packed in, and even just looking at the actual hours that are required, we surpass all the teaching educational
Yes.
hours that are on the school district websites and the California website, Department of Education. And so we've done the research, we've seen how it works, and now as we're completing our 4th year as a school, it has definitely been a benefit there. But having the 4-day school week is definitely a good part of our school.
Yes.
I know our teachers love it, and
Absolutely.
majority of our families love it. Just being able to have that extra time with the kids.
Yes.
Yes, that is definitely a blessing there for that. We also use some different programs that we use that are able, or that allow us to be able to communicate with our parents and just be able to try to eliminate any questions maybe the parents have about schoolwork. Is it being completed? And we use a program called GradeLink, and it's just a great program that we can use just to be able to communicate with parents. The parents can go on and see their students' grades and just be able to follow and check in and see, maybe missing assignments. And it's just a great tool that we use, a great platform that we take advantage of, that we have an opportunity to communicate there with the parents.
All right, and so not only can the parents log in and see exactly where their child is at, I don't know about I just know with my children, if you ask them whether that they had homework or not, oftentimes the answer was no. And
Yes.
so this program does help give the parents the tools so they can go on, check in, and see whether or not there's a assignment coming up, test coming up. You hit the Thursday, and they're going to be gone for the weekend. What books do they need so they're prepared on Monday? And, the parents, they have that ability. And there's just extra tools. And so not only is there the ability for the parent to check in, there's also the ability for the student to have a login. And the student can't see everything that the parent can see, but they can see their assignments, they can see their grades, and so they have their own login. And so that is a wonderful tool to be able to stay engaged.
Yes. And then also our curriculum, we use Bob Jones, and that is just a powerful curriculum. And Miss Rachel, would you like to just kind of expound upon the curriculum that we use?
Yes, I know we've touched over it a couple of times already, but we just have been so invested in this curriculum. I was actually just contacted by them this last week asking me for my opinions on it, and I don't enjoy doing surveys, but I really enjoy doing that one. It's just, there is something that sets it apart, and there is one thing to have that rote memorization, and honestly, anyone can memorize, but the understanding that is required in our curriculum, and it's across so many different levels. Yes, they're going to do essay questions in 2nd grade, but they're also going to take all the facts that they've learned about the scientific processes and erosion and things, and then they're going to attack a life story. This issue with the gentleman in his yard, and what are some pros and cons of the situation with the upcoming weather, and what should you do, what can you do to prepare for it, and all of these things. These are 2nd grade questions, and they are taking all the information that they learned in that chapter and putting it into these real
Can a
life
2nd
things.
grader learn that?
Oh my goodness, yes. yes. I have been so impressed just seeing the things and how the curriculum leads them to think and come to their own conclusions.
What about the students though that some classes they are keyed in and they can really pick it up and it's not a problem, but maybe there's another course that they struggle with. Does that mean they're just doomed to fail?
Oh, absolutely not. No, there are so many options. Even obviously we do the technology and the teacher combination within the classroom, but BJU Press also offers a program called afterschoolhelp.com, where the students can go back through and watch a recap at home without any sort of login of that day's math video, or maybe they needed some extra reviews on just speed drills in math, or they had some questions on grammar, and they'll even be able to watch some specific review questions with the teacher they had from that exact lesson, just to kind of help. There's even some online problems they can do, so that as they put them in, they can type them in online and immediately see, am I doing this right? They'll tell you where you went off along the way, especially in high school. That's a big benefit, knowing that you can have that immediate interaction if you're waiting to do your homework until a teacher isn't there.
What about the students that they just don't test well? And
That's okay.
everybody has run into that. I know in myself, even in college, same scenario. Sometimes I felt like I was prepared, and it just didn't come out when the time to take that test was there. So what if a student does not get A's?
That's okay. An A is not the goal. The A is never the goal. Our goal
So
is, did they
the
retain it?
grade that they get, having the best grade, is not a goal?
No, because the goal is the education. An A is just that. It's a letter.
All right.
And our goal is to have our students absorb as much information as they possibly can.
So if you can just memorize and take a test well and be able to move on, does that automatically mean that you learned?
Absolutely not. I was just speaking about this with another teacher this last week, and she was mentioning about measurements and conversions, and that's something that I memorized every year before my test and my quiz, and I aced it every year. But if you were to tell me right now and ask me how many cups were in a gallon or something, I have no idea. I have a little magnet on my refrigerator so I can cheat. And you know what though? Every single time, if you were to ask my teacher growing up, they would say that I knew it. But I didn't. I memorized it for the test, I reproduced it, I got that A, but I didn't get the education.
Okay.
And there is something that has swapped. Now that I'm on this side as an educator, the A would be great. But at the end of the day, I would rather them walk away with the education than the A. The education and the knowledge and the retainment of it is the
So with
focus.
a curriculum that is more advanced, if let's say that a student comes in as an A student, and they are used to getting A's, and mom and dad are used to getting A's. And what happens if now all of a sudden they are a C student? Does that mean that the education is not there? Does it mean that the student is just struggling and it's too hard? Or is it a combination of the fact that it's a new style of curriculum, there are new ways of learning, and so I just know a lot of times for the grades are one of those things that parents put way up here, and if they don't hit this, then either they failed, or the parent failed, or the school failed. And so being able to just sort of look at that and say, okay, if the curriculum is an advanced curriculum, and it is,
It really is.
and our parents can attest to that, because many times they're like, hey, we need some help here, because this is not an easy question. And so with that, if maybe they get C's or B's in that with an advanced curriculum, if we would have dropped our curriculum to a lower standard, we could have guaranteed a higher grade, but we would not have guaranteed more learning.
Absolutely. And that is the goal. The goal is that we've got a curriculum that is very in-depth. It's got a broad scope of information. And if a student can grasp 80 or 85% of that, they have gained so much more than a lower curriculum where they could get 100% of it.
And there are some great curriculums.
Absolutely.
And we are not tearing down the other curriculums. And the school that we had when we were in a different state was a different curriculum. And our children went through a curriculum. It was different than the Bob Jones Press. And it was still a good curriculum. And the children got a good education. And this is just, as we look at it, this is just a step up.
Yes.
And as an administrator, as a pastor, I didn't want to just give information. I wanted to make sure that we were challenging the students.
Yes.
And when you talk to prospective parents, oftentimes it's, well, my child is an A student, and are you going to challenge them? And now that the challenge is there, it is not always well received. And so there's a dynamic that has to be adjusted, and maybe even a little switch that has to flip, because the kids are learning.
Absolutely.
And so I'm thankful for the school. I'm thankful for the opportunity. And when we were looking at this next year, I've been asked, are we going to have school this next year? And I just heard this week that Southern California, they're telling the governor that they're probably not going to be able to even open. And I don't know whether that's going to happen or not. But one thing that we're looking at, we are planning on opening up. We did not shut down. Our students weren't on campus, but we did everything we could to make sure that the kids' education continued. And it was a lot of work for moms and dads, and it was a lot of work for our staff to be able to work through this dynamic. And it's a change for sure. But we're thankful for everything that happened, that we're able to continue the children's education, and they'll be able to finish all the coursework that they would have done if they were here on campus. And so when they start this next year, there aren't going to be these gaps.
Yes.
And I know that that's put a lot of pressure on our parents to be able to make sure that that work was done. But it definitely has equipped the students, so when this next year comes, they're going to go into that next grade, and they're not going to be scratching their head saying, I don't know all of this assumed knowledge that I should have learned had it not been for COVID-19. So we are planning on opening up the day after Labor Day, and so it'll be a good time. And so, do we have any? I know we've got a raffle that we need to do.
We are ready for a raffle.
We are ready for a raffle,
ready.
and you know what? They chose to utilize for the raffle. They chose to use an offering plate. All right, I always enjoy the offering plate as a pastor. Okay, let's see here. Let's reach in here and figure out who we've got and who is going to win.
No pressure.
No pressure.
Can't look.
I can't look?
No.
Okay. All right. Can you see what that is? Go ahead and pull right in. Well, David, can you pull right in on that?
Why?
All
They
right. Do what?
They don't have tickets, Dad. Why are you
They
doing
don't. They don't have tickets.
No,
All right.
just have their name.
There's a name on here. All right. Okay. Can you see? All right. There we go. Admit one. All right. Great job. Admit one. They've got 1 month of tuition. Was I supposed to show the other side? Here we go. Let's try that one more time. Whoops.
There we go. Wait for it. Wait
Wait
for
for it. There.
There it is.
Callahan.
The Callahan family.
All right, so the Callahans ended up earning 1 month tuition, and so for one of their students, so congratulations to them. And so we will have some questions. If people have questions, has anybody commented in on some questions?
I've got a lot of comments, but so far no questions.
Okay.
But if there is anything that comes up that you can think of, you can continue to text that number and we will be able to reach back out to you with those.
All right, and so what was that number again?
Number is 530-290-6444, and just text question to that number there, and you can simply just submit your question there, and we will do our best to get back with you, and that way you can have your question answered.
All right, and then also on our school website, bbsforme.org, if you will go there, it will have also all the information about the school, as well as a calendar that you can set up a success consultation, educational success consultation, and we will meet with you and give you the tour of the campus, the classrooms, answer questions that you have, and we look forward to preparing for this next year. And if you have students that are ready to be enrolled, go ahead and take that next step. We want you to be a part, and then also just share it with all of your friends and family. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here for our
Thank you
very
very
first
much.
virtual open house. God bless. Have a good evening.